Welcome to part 2 of my Ford's clutch replacement. In part 1, we focused on the disassembly required to get to the clutch, and as always, reassemble in the reverse order of disassembly. Okay, goodbye. Just kidding, here's part 2 where we focus on the reassembly. So we're going to start off by putting this little protective plate back on, followed up with the flywheel, of which will only go on in one orientation. You'll know it's right when all the bolt holes line up. I've put a little bit of blue Loctite on my bolts. Go ahead and tighten to 75 to 85 foot-pounds in a star pattern. Check to make sure that the hole where the pilot bearing goes is free of anything. Go ahead and install with this little protrusion facing in towards the motor. Hammered in. Next, for the clutch, we'll go ahead and install the clutch alignment tool in the clutch and then put the end into the pilot bearing. Next, we'll go for the pressure plate. And again, a little bit of blue Loctite here. We'll tighten these also in a star pattern to 15 to 20 foot-pounds. Next, take your clutch alignment tool out because that clutch is now secure and install on the transmission your throwout bearing. Go ahead and put the clutch fork around the throwout bearing and you're ready to jack the transmission up. If you have trouble getting the input shaft of the transmission to go into the clutch, it could be that the spline is misaligned. Sometimes it can help to put the transmission in gear and in four-wheel drive and spin the front drive line to get the input shaft of the transmission to spin and align with the clutch. Once you get the transmission to slide into place, try to align one bolt hole and get at least one bolt in. Once you've done this, you've gotten past the hardest part. Once you get at least one or two bolts in and snug, you can support the transfer case by some other means and go ahead and pull your transmission jack out of the way so that you can get to the rest of the bolt holes a little easier. So the transmission isn't precariously sitting on top of a jack, I'm going to go ahead and just reinstall the rear transmission mount right now. And to the top side of the truck we go. Here's the fuel line guide that was on top of the bell housing. Make sure you put that in before you put your top two bell housing bolts in. There's the one on the passenger side, and here's the one on the driver's side that I have to get from the bottom. We can now start torquing these bell housing bolts to about 50 foot-pounds. There are 6 bolts in total. Don't forget these two little 10 millimeters on the bottom plate here, and reinstall your drain plug in your transmission before we put fluid in it. Now for the bolts on the transmission mount, make sure that you tighten these down. Let's go ahead and put the rear drive shaft in now. Slide the slip yoke in, then reinstall your carrier bearing. Go ahead and tighten some things down, and we'll finally install the rear axle end. Now there was 2 plugs on the transmission. We'll go ahead and install both of those now. And we'll move on to the transfer case shifter and get that seated back down into the mount. Tighten up the 2 bolts attaching the transfer case shifter bracket to the transfer case. Then we can move on to putting fluid back in the transmission. I'm going to do this from the gear shifter since it's already off and it beats trying to pump 4 quarts up into the transmission from below. 3.4 quarts is the correct amount, but slightly overfilling shouldn't hurt anything, and it can actually quiet down the normal gear noise that you hear on these ZF5s. I put about 3.8 quarts into mine. I did mess up the gasket on the top of this transmission. I don't have another one, so I'm going to use RTV upon reassembly. Install the shift stub, making sure that the slits on the plastic pieces are facing up. I'm going to install my 4 Allen bolts, just hand tight at first because I need to let the RTV set up for 1 hour before I fully torque. But after torquing down, go ahead and install the first rubber boot and then the shifter. Now I did put some blue Loctite on these 2 bolts that connect the shift stub to the shifter because when I took it off there was Loctite on it. Push your rubber boot back down, align the 4 holes, and go ahead and reinstall the 4 Phillips head screws that connect the shift boot to the floor. Now, do you remember when I said this?
Wonder if they sell just this bushing that was on the end here.
Well, as it turns out, they don't. And to get a new bushing, you have to buy a new slave cylinder. And I just didn't want to go through that. So here's a quick video of me making that bushing out of the clutch alignment tool that came with my clutch. How well it'll hold up, I'm not really sure. This plastic doesn't seem particularly hard, but neither did the plastic from the original bushing. Now a tip, you're gonna have to drill this hole out to about a 1/2 inch for it to fit over the slave cylinder. This plastic is soft enough that you can just run the drill in reverse, and then you don't risk drilling too deep or drilling all the way through your bushing. Now that we have our brand new bushing, we can go ahead and install the slave cylinder so that it contacts the clutch fork. This can be a little bit troublesome, but here you see me compressing the slave cylinder because it's got to be in its compressed form to actually make it fit in there. Okay, now that you have it about here, it's not really going to expand anymore, so you can kind of take your time working it in there. These little clips can hang up your progress pushing the slave cylinder into its slot on the transmission, so prying back on them with a screwdriver a little bit while maneuvering the slave cylinder may just get it to slip in there. Look at that, we're on our final stretch. Go ahead and tighten the drain bolt on your transfer case, and we're going to fill up the transfer case now. This should take about 2 quarts. Here we go, now we're installing the starter. One bolt on the motor side and 1 bolt on the bell housing side. Our last thing to do now is just reinstall the skid plate. Now I'm in the truck and testing the engagement of the clutch and seeing how it feels. Things seem fine.